Hey guys, it's Sebastian from AskSebby, and today we are going to do a roundup of a bunch of different topics that you probably want to know about for this week. One big favor before we dive into all of this is to give this a thumbs up. It takes a few seconds, and it really does help with that algorithm. Also, if you're someone that's not subscribed, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. One quick first story is if you are someone that is waiting on the status of their stimulus check, you can actually now check this on their websites. So on the IRS website, there's a little section for this. I'd strongly recommend going there if this is relevant. Another thing too is that a lot of people have been asking me questions over on Instagram related to this, and a lot of these can be answered on the website, and the website can probably answer it faster than I can. I mostly use Instagram as a way to share information a bit faster versus trying to answer everyone's question, especially when it's something that is very, very easy to Google. Side note, follow our Instagram, AskSebby. The first big story is going to be airlines as well as hotel groups selling their points in order to get money. We've seen United as well as Delta considering doing this in order to raise money because for them, they need money. On the hotel end, we've actually seen Hilton already sell $1 billion worth of points to American Express at a discount. One question that I've gotten a lot about all of this is whether I think it's a good thing or a bad thing for people who are considering these cards or people who currently have Hilton points who have these Hilton cards. The first level thinking is that when you create more points, when you do stuff like this, the points that you currently hold are going to be worth less because that's how the US dollar is. If I currently hold $10,000 and they print $2 trillion, then the value of the money that I'm holding is not worth as much. When you consider that these airlines as well as hotel groups can print unlimited points and there's not really anyone stopping them from doing that, this can be a concern. Ironically though, the fact that they're trying to raise money and they're working with the banks that they typically work with, such as American Express, as well as probably Chase, I think this is going to be the exact opposite. If they were just directly selling points to us, then I would be a bit more concerned just because we don't really have as much power, we don't really have say, but when they're dealing with American Express as that gatekeeper, as that first step, then they have a lot of power. So let's think about it from everyone's incentives. Hilton, as well as the airlines, want to sell these points because it doesn't cost them anything right now in order to sell them because they can print unlimited points and then they get money right now. So that's a big win. On their balance sheet, on their books though, they're going to have an outstanding liability. So this is going to be for future services. When you think about points, they're actually going to be liabilities. It's like as if a plumber gave you a card that said, hey, I'm going to help you in the future. On our end, our incentive is pretty straightforward. We want our points to not change in value. We want to know that one card that we had for that 1 hour of service with the plumber is still going to be worth that. With American Express though, they want to make sure they're getting a good deal. I've said this a bunch of times, but to me at least, American Express is pretty much the mob of the credit card world. They know what they're doing. They have very strong relationships. They have a lot of say and power. Everything and anything that is legal, they will make sure that they make money from. Even on the small end, there were people who were using their travel credits and then immediately refunding it so that they could double dip, that they didn't need to travel in order to use that credit, and American Express is clawing that back. Main takeaway there is that American Express gets their money. So with this purchase of Hilton points, of $1 billion Hilton points, American Express isn't going to buy it unless they're getting a sweetheart deal. So let's say it's 30%. If they're not getting that discount, then there's no reason for them to buy it right now. The thing though is that if Hilton immediately in, let's say a few months, raises the prices by 30% to account for that discount, then American Express is going to be pissed off. Imagine if you're American Express, why the heck did you just buy these points, $1 billion worth of points, if the discount now doesn't exist? Put another way, American Express is buying this token from Hilton at a discount in order to get value. They're getting value because they're effectively selling this token to you when you sign up for their credit cards as that intro bonus and as why you want the cards. Hey, I'm American Express. If you sign up for this card, you're getting this token. This token allows you to redeem for one night at the Waldorf Astoria in the Maldives. If Hilton increased prices and they're like, hey, you don't need to use one token, you actually need to use 2 tokens for this property now, American Express is going to be really pissed off because what they bought just decreased in value. So American Express is not dumb enough to buy these points if they don't think it's going to retain value and if they don't have some agreements or some acknowledgement by Hilton on the back end probably saying that we're not going to devalue these points in a dramatic way. I still do see Hilton increasing the cost of the properties in a normal way just because that's pretty much inflation. We see that every year where we see categories kind of go up one level, but I just don't see it in a dramatic way. On the note of American Express, it seems like a lot of people, including Mandy, are getting retention offers. So if you are someone that has an annual fee due right now or in the next month or so, then I'd consider calling them and seeing if they have anything to offer. For Mandy, she ended up getting 50,000 points for no spend on her American Express Platinum Schwab card. If you want to see a script for that, if you're not really sure what to do, I'd go to the blog post down below. And then we also have another one where we have a database of different entries for what the retention offers are and what people are getting right now. Final thing with American Express is that people mentioned to me that they are seeing the 100K offer over on Card Match. So if you want to see if you're targeted for the 100K American Express Platinum personal card offer, then I'd recommend checking it out. On that note, if you are someone that wants to learn about pretty much any card out there, a very easy way to support our channel would be using the links that are on our website, AskSebby.com, as well as down below in the description box. We'll do a lightning round of different topics, and then we'll talk about Google launching their debit card. First thing is, if you are someone that wants to watch me get a haircut after this, then I'd go to Mandy's channel. I'll link it down below. I think it's pretty funny. A lot of people seem to be enjoying it. And in case you're wondering about my haircut, that's what happened.
I don't know. I don't think anyone pays attention to the back of your head, so it's okay if we mess it up. Do you think I'm going to get more clients after this?
I hope not. It's a big yikes. Number 2 is if you are buying office supplies on Amazon, there's currently a promotion where you're going to get $10 off a $25 order. For me, I ended up buying some whiteboard supplies, so dry eraser stuff, just because I'm whiteboarding stuff anyways, and getting $10 off is a no-brainer. Southwest finally joined the fray, and they're adding 6 months to Southwest Companion Pass and 12 months to A-list status. They're also going to make getting status a lot easier, which I think is a good thing. Overall, I'm happy with this. I kind of wish they made Southwest Companion Pass 12 extra months instead of 6 months, but that's still pretty good. I'm not too surprised that they're being protective of Companion Pass, given that it's pretty much a buy one, get one pass. If you're someone who rents cars, the National is going to be extending status by another year. Over on the hotel side, we have a lot of different promotions right now. So if you are someone that has status with Wyndham, then they're going to be extending gold, platinum, and diamond status until end of year 2021. If you are an essential worker, whether that's on the healthcare side, on the warehouse side, or the delivery side, Wyndham's going to be giving you gold status. Best Western is doing something pretty similar, extending status until January 2022, and they're also giving frontline people gold status. The interesting thing about Best Western is that they're giving you one level up if you already have status. So if you have Diamond Select status, then they're going to give you Diamond Lifetime status. Pretty good move to me. Links to that and pretty much everything that we talked about are going to be in the blog post down below. Side note, if you have not liked the video yet, give it a thumbs up. The final thing is that Google is going to be releasing their own debit card. So full disclosure, I am more of a Google fanboy, but I don't mind Apple. I'm not one of those people who hates Apple just because I prefer Google. I'll happily use a MacBook or anything by pretty much anyone if it's the right tool for the job. Video editing when traveling, and then actual work with my work environment set up. People really seem to like arguing about why they made a better choice purchasing one phone over another phone, but for me, it doesn't really matter. Diving back into the card, we don't really know too much about this other than the fact that it's going to be a debit card and it's going to be a co-branded card with different bank partners, including Citi as well as Stanford Federal Credit Union. The first thing is I think this is going to be a good move for both us as well as Google because Google's trying to have more control over financial services, which is fine with me. And then for us, we are benefiting because the more competition there is, the better it is for us. When you have one player, then they don't really have an incentive to innovate. But when you have a lot of people trying to do the same thing, then everyone has to do better. On a realistic end though, for the debit card, I don't really see it being overly competitive. I see it filling the same footprint as a lot of the other startup ones. Probably 1% everywhere and then some partnership related stuff, which makes it interesting. So maybe 10% off for certain partners, which I think is the value of those cards. And then maybe an incentive if you end up using Google Pay. Probably something like 2 or 3%. And then if we get very lucky, if Google decides that they just want to take the market, then 5% would be pretty good. The bull case for this is that Google has a lot of money behind them, obviously, and they can pretty much do anything they want. So they can bleed money here. They can offer 10% back on their card and people would happily use it and it probably wouldn't even affect their bottom line. The bearish case for this is that people might not care. People like Apple and I think they will do a lot of things to get Apple products, but I don't really think that's as true for Google. Put another way, I don't think Google has the cachet of Apple. And again, this is someone speaking as a Google fanboy. I like Google products. I've been using Pixel phones and stuff like that for a while, but people just generally don't care as much. The other part of it too is that Google has a history of dropping the ball on stuff and just letting it die. So this is pretty normal and this is a good thing. You launch a product, you see if it hits, and if people care about it, and if people don't, you end up killing off the product and you try something else. That's pretty much the ethos of tech. You attempt something, you iterate, and then if it dies, and you do something else. If you look into Google's graveyard, you can see a lot of products. There's definitely been products that I've been excited about that Google ends up killing off because it just doesn't get enough traction and people, the general public at least, doesn't care. Main takeaway is that I think it's going to end up being a 1% card with some incentive for Google Pay, but that's pretty much it. I still think this is a good move though because it rises the tide and forces everyone else to be more competitive as well. If you guys are still watching, love you guys. Thank you guys for the support and hope you guys are staying safe. And if you are someone that wants to support the channel, then we do have a referral link for Webull where you're going to get 2 free stocks by signing up and putting $100. To me, at least, it's a no-brainer because you can try out the platform and you're getting 2 free stocks. My question for you guys is what are your thoughts on the Google card as well as any other topic that we talked about throughout the video? If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. If you know anyone else who'd benefit from what we just talked about, share this with them. It'll probably help them out. But otherwise, hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.